Smauglings, what is happening? This is going to be the review for Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2. So, we pick up where we left off on Episode 1, where Abby is arriving at Jackson County with the WLF members. There seems to be an outbreak of cordyceps within Jackson County, and Ellie and Joel's relationship is not the best place at this point in time. And we begin this episode with Abby's dream of the day her dad was killed, and that's going over and over in her mind, and she's unable to let it go. The fact that her dad was killed by the hands of Joel, who she is hell-bent on finding in Jackson. And they are holed up at the lodge. So Abby and the WLF members are at the lodge like they are in the game, and the WLF members are trying to prevent Abby from going through with this plan, as they think it's too dangerous and they don't really want to go ahead with it. But Abby is determined to find the man that killed her dad. And one thing I want to make note of here is that the actor playing the character of Nora, which is a character in the game that is a member of the WLF, is someone that has had quite a bit of experience with Naughty Dog, it seems like, because she's playing the main character in the new Intergalactic game, and I thought I saw a resemblance there when I saw her. I thought she looked familiar, and that's because she's playing the main character in Intergalactic, and her likeness is there as well. That's quite cool, because she's been in the Uncharted movie as well, playing a villain, and she's also in The Last of Us and Intergalactic, so that's a fun bit of trivia, that is, because I thought she looked familiar, and she looked so familiar because she's playing characters in other Naughty Dog properties, which is very cool. And we see Ellie and Jesse getting ready for patrol, and in this particular time, Tommy is warning of a blizzard in the mess hall where everyone gathers for their food before they go out on patrol. He's warning of this blizzard that could possibly endanger Jackson County for a brief period of time, and he wants everyone to be aware of it. And then we also get the character of Seth, who's trying to make amends with Ellie after he has obviously insulted her and been quite mean to her in the last episode. And as in the game, she's not having any of it, and she's really resistant to it. And that is the typical fashion of Ellie. And Ellie and Jesse go on patrol. They take shelter in the weed den of Eugene, which is another character in the game. And I incorrectly said in the previous review that I didn't know this character, but he is the character that is the ex-Firefly, who you do know, and you stay in the weed den that belongs to him in Last of Us Part 2, and that's what they're doing there. They're staying in his weed den, and then Ellie finds out that he's a Firefly. That brings back memories of all the Fireflies that Joel killed in the first season and the game. And at this point, we follow Abby as well. We're sort of spending equal time with Ellie and Abby, and Abby's surveying the area, seeing a way to get to Jackson and trying to devise a plan. And I do think it is a good idea that they revealed the fact that Abby was looking for Joel in the first episode, because it's not the same medium as a game. You need to give a reason and a motivation for the character to be followed in the TV show, because in the game you have the luxury of the gameplay to hook you and bring you along for the journey, but you can't pull the wool over people's eyes twice, I think. So it was smart of them to reveal instantly that Abby is hellbent on killing Joel because he killed her father. So I do think that they should have done that, and it's a good idea that they did do that. And I disagree with people that think that that was a bad idea, because it gives you a justification for following the character. So I think that was a good choice. And then when Abby's surveying the area, she stumbles into the nest of all the infected, and this is where we get a horde of infected that are charging towards Jackson, and it's really intense and really well done. And before that, we get Abby being chased by all the infected, and she's running away from them, and she's trying to find a shelter. And a really cool sequence here that is similar to what happens in the game, where the fence that Abby is trying to get through is falling on her as the infected are pushing on it, and she's trying to squeeze out of that particular area, and it's really cool, very well done, very tense in that particular moment. And then Abby meets Joel and Dina, who are on patrol. So Joel's been absent for this entire episode, and it's probably the longest we've gone without actually seeing Joel in an episode, I think. And we see him with Dina, and the hordes of the infected charge towards Jackson County. And as the hordes of infected are charging, Joel, Dina and Abby go back to the lodge to find shelter, to be safe, and restock their ammunition and supply so they can take on these infected. And in that particular moment, I remember feeling so much dread because I know what's coming. And obviously I love Joel's character, as I did in the game, and it always hits me really hard when that moment happens. And that's what we get here. We get the slow death of Joel, and it's not nearly as graphic as in the game. I think it's more graphic in the game because he basically gets shot in the kneecap and doesn't really have much of a knee left, and it seems more like a wound here. But in the game, his entire leg is almost shot off completely, and it's really disturbing. And it's still disturbing here, and it's credit to the acting involved that it really makes you emotional. And this is a point where those tears start to well when you see what's actually happening, because Abby gives Joel that slow execution that she thinks he deserves. And you can see that the WLF members are not entirely on board, and they're really hesitant. And you can see that Mel, the medic, is really reticent to be involved within this plan, and it's really disturbing, upsetting, and it's a really dour episode. It reminds me of Empire Strikes Back, but I'm in some ways happy that they got this across as early as they possibly can, because we all would have been waiting for it if they hadn't done it. And in some ways I'm accepting of them doing it at this point, because otherwise it would have been so long before Joel gets killed, and that would have been harder to deal with. And I think now we can focus on Ellie and Abby's journeys, and I'm really excited to see how they convey Abby's humanity, because that is the task that they're going to have to accomplish now, like they do in the game, is that they have to get you to care about Abby. And that's the brilliant thing about The Last of Us Part 2, and I'll say it again, I really think The Last of Us Part 2 is the greatest game of all time. It's the most ambitious, the most fine-tuned game I've ever played in my life. And it's not to say that it's my absolute favourite, it is one of my favourites, but it's a marvellous game, really tremendous, and they've got a big task ahead of them with trying to get you to relate to Abby, but I'm really excited to see what they do with that. And that is the episode, guys. I really did think this was a really good episode. I thought that it was very dark in tone. It is like Empire Strikes Back. It is something that ends on quite a sad note, and we also end with a song that was performed by Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie in the game, and she played this song in the reveal trailer, I believe, for Last of Us Part 2, and it's a really great song. It's a really dark and really somber song, I believe it's called Through the Valley, and it really fits here for this particular moment, and I really loved it. And it just sucks we have to wait for the next episode next week, which is something that we're gonna have to do, but I thought it was a really good episode. What did you think of the episode if you've seen it, guys? And are you excited for where the rest of the season goes? Let me know in the comments down below. I really appreciate it, Smauglings. You guys take care, and I will see you soon.